What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Johnny Brento's JuJu Wednesday. Glad to be back here with you this week. Lots to talk about going on with Mutantville Productions. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Delicious. Okay, so here's what's what for this week. A lot of new stuff with Mutantville Productions. The thing I'm most excited about this week is that we are really into the short rows for the authoring of the DVD for G.H.O.S.T. Literally, the final score was just downloaded yesterday, and today I'm tasked with putting that on and finishing one visual effects shot, and that's literally it. That's the final file that we'll be looking at when you hit play on the DVD for G.H.O.S.T. Then we get into the really fun stuff, which is the extras. Now, I'm proud to say that on every production that Mutantville Productions has ever touched, we always go way, way overboard on the behind the scenes. Our first film, C for Chaos, well, it's even Zombie Hunter, which is our first little short attempt at a film, not even really finished, but we managed to get behind the scenes for that. And then our first attempt at a real full-length feature, C for Chaos, at the end of the day, we had, at the end of several days, several years, we had almost 200 hours of footage, and a lot of that was behind-the-scenes extras. G.H.O.S.T was no exception, so every step of the way we made behind-the-scenes videos, many of which we posted on YouTube, but some which we didn't. And it's those that you're going to see on the DVD, those little extras, and then we'll perhaps shoot some specific stuff to talk about, a look back at the project after having had the experience all the way through the DVD. And that'll be done within the next week or so, spun off and sent off to the printers. And we are having professionally printed DVDs, so you guys can look forward to that, adding that to your collection with your name on it. And it'll look awesome, I'm sure, when it's all said and done. For a long time, Mutantville has focused on video type content, but we have dabbled in podcasts in the past. Even back before Dead Pit, we dabbled in podcasts, and of course, I wouldn't take away from those guys. They are the originators of horror talk radio, without a doubt. But we focused more on what we were up to at the time, projects and guerrilla filmmaking type stuff. And so I'm happy to see that we're officially going to be throwing our hats in the arena, as it were, with a regular podcast. So to date, 2 new podcasts have been recorded, and one of them's already up. And some of our old archive podcasts, thankfully, we kept around, and we're going to put those up. And you'll be very soon able to get on iTunes and look up our podcast by name. Unfortunately, I don't know what the name is right now, so I can't share that, but you'll be able to find it out on the website, or perhaps next week's Johnny Brento's JuJu. But it's really exciting. I took part in one of those where we discussed spoilers for Cabin in the Woods and just the film in general, and a few other current events. It was a lot of fun. We've been able to refine our technique using Skype so that we don't all have to sit in the same room. Everybody can have their own mic via their own computer, and it works out very, very nice. It was fun and real easy. I could see that being a regular bit of featured content for Mutantville.com. So maybe some weeks, instead of seeing Johnny Brento's JuJu, seeing my ugly mug here, you'll just hear our voices talking about whatever's current with what we're doing. We're talking about a lot of promotional opportunities. We have a lot going on this year with the various cons, Con Carolina, and then Kentucky Fright Night Film Fest, Fright Fest. Sorry if I got the name wrong. That big one up in Kentucky that you always see Strebo at with a microphone talking to everybody. That one. But in addition to that, of course, we have several projects we're filming, and very, very close to just getting every bit of the first episode of Mutitious More in the can. With the movie and the additional bits, it's coming out around 2 hours, so that's pretty neat. You'll get to have the whole immersive film experience, but really, hopefully you're not there just to watch the film, because there's lots of great copies of that around. You're here to see that unique content with Mutitious, the movie goddess. So that's been our focus, and that's really been a fun project all around, and hopefully we can do a few more of those this year, depending on the feedback that we get and the kinds of responses with regards to downloads. Personally, I'm looking at ways for getting my film, our film, Respawner. Of course, it's a pilot for a web series that we never went ahead and fleshed out, but it will be included on the Tales from Mutantville DVD, but it's a minor feature on there, so I'm looking at perhaps the idea of hosting it with IMDb or finding some other solution for streaming it. So you'll be able to go to the official Respawner website, which is mutantville.com/respawner, and view the film, at your leisure, as it were. It's about I think it's about 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes long. So, but it's a fun little romp, for sci-fi horror romp with some really awesome special effects, makeup, and gore effects. So, hopefully, I'll be able to in a position to share that with everybody for free pretty soon. It's cool to be able to just kind of. Obviously, you can't give everything away, but just to have a piece of content that it doesn't really hurt you to give away, you love to do that. Recently had an experience playing with my band, and we're used to playing to decent-sized crowds, but on this particular night, the venue had decided to implement for the first time a $5 cover charge, and there was another nearby clubhouse that did not have the cover charge that night. And unfortunately, we got to play to very, very few people as a result, because people, I've said it once, I'll say it again, it's tough all over. Times are lean. People don't want to throw their money away. That's why Mutantville Productions focuses on bringing you the best in independent genre content for as little money as possible. We basically try to make our films for whatever we have in our pocket, and in doing so can really maintain authenticity and freedom of artistic choices that let us really just do whatever we want, and that's pretty awesome. And hopefully there'll be a sustainable plan where we're able to sell our product for a really great price for you guys, and it's enough for us to scratch on, you know what I mean? Just carry on and do that next film. I guess that's about it, really. Let's see here. So I talked about the podcast. This week we have 2 more tiny bits from Mutish's Movie Morgue. One of those takes place in the effects guy, Todd, his basically basement workshop. So that's going to be filmed tomorrow night as I'm recording this. This is Tuesday. Of course, in the world of Mutantville, it's actually Wednesday. Hi, thanks for coming by, Johnny Brento's JuJu this Wednesday. But actually Wednesday night, the plan is to go and record that, and we'll have that knocked out. That just involves 2 cast members. And then there's just the performance piece, which features my band, which really is just a studio-only band, if you will. It's the collaboration between myself and Todd A. Britt that we've had for years and years and years, and we play with various drummers and other musicians. At this time, Jeremy Mullis is our drummer, and we're going to try to do this with him if it's possible. Getting on, when you have a kind of a studio-only band, it comes down to is drummer A, B, or C available, and that's kind of who you go with. But that is the plan, monies. Anyway, look forward to more cool content from mutantville.com, and as you can see, I've got a huge mess here. I'm trying to reorganize my look at that. You'd think with a cover like that would be an awesome movie, wouldn't you? And you'd be totally wrong, piece of shit. But yeah, trying to reorganize. Realized I had a bunch of VHS. I have almost 900 VHS right now in my collection up here in the archive room, and I'm really at the point where I need to bring another rack, and I've got one more I can bring in and hopefully get everything off the floor. There's a few on the floor right now, and organize those. But I wound up, being that you have to buy in lots on eBay, I wound up getting a lot more comedy and chick flick type films than I anticipated, because I always focus on ones with predominantly horror themes or sci-fi, and so I have a bunch, but I do actually watch those with my wife Nancy from time to time, and so I need to reorganize again. It's time to approach the organization different. Like all the Star Trek films need to go together, all the Stephen King, which I have a ton of, it all needs to go together. And before I had done it according to the theme of the film. For example, vampire films, I probably have 20 or 30 altogether. Then werewolf films, I have a huge set of those. Then zombie films, of course, takes up a whole shelf. So I'm trying to find ways to organize it a little bit better. And forget alphabetical. That's just totally not going to work for me. That's just not the way my mind thinks up here. So, but from time to time I get to come up here and just sort of geek out and just sit down and go, damn, I have a lot of VHS and cool genre entertainment. And I would say literally, there's hundreds of films here that I have never seen. So that to me is awesome. I'm like, if this house flies off into space tomorrow and I can sustain oxygen, at least I'll have movies to watch, right? For a long, long time. So it's very cool. I don't know. I just something I love about the VHS. They're just so tangible, and just you can hold them, and they have weight to them, and the boxes look awesome in most cases. Everybody calls it a dead format. I'm just not. I mean, they're not making things in it that much anymore, but they still are putting some things out on VHS. But in the sense that there's still plenty of them around and they're readily available, and you can still go find VHS players, VCRs. So, I don't know. I think maybe 20 years from now it'll be dead, but as of right now, and even then it'll live on in our hearts, because there's a huge movement behind preserving VHS right now on the internet. If you look on Facebook for VHS Preservation Society, you'll just find tons of stuff, or sites devoted to fan pages devoted to saving the VHS, and a lot of energy goes into that, and a lot of passion. And that's really what it's all about when it comes to collecting anything, is passion, or making films, or making music. Words to live by from your good friend Johnny Brento. See you next week.
You're watching Mutant TV.